There are many stories of how all of our animals and birds were created from the human beings. The mountains were people at one time, the trees were people at one time. All of these stories were handed down orally. This is what I heard when I was young. Our old people had various burial methods. Okay. Some were buried in a hole in the fetal position. Some were put out onto the canoe with a hole in the bottom of the canoe so the canoe would sink. Some were buried up in the trees, you see, in their canoes. So our people are in the ground, our people are in the water, and our people are in the air. The spirits of our ancestors are all there. Their spirits are all the way around us. And this is what I teach to young people, that our people had stories of people that live under the water. We have stories of people that live under the ice. We have stories of the star people. We have stories of the mountains and the trees. This is the way we look at life. All of the animals give up their lives to be food for our people. And we give thanks to our brothers and our sisters and our relatives for providing for us. And the blackfish or the killer whale, we call him Qualthalmachtan. Qualthalmachtan is part of our people that come from under the water. I see them today. I've been out on the boat many times, watching them, talking to them. The message that they're giving to us, I think, is important. That the blackfish, they are starving. They're dying, and they're just telling the world. They're dying, and they're telling the world. As I listen to the old people, white man beware when we start to die here next. And we're getting there. We're getting there.
Sometimes people say we're the canoe people because we traveled by canoe. Some said we're salmon people because we harvested extensively from the various species of salmon that came to the Pacific Northwest. Some call us island people because we're from the islands. The San Juan Islands is our Aboriginal territory. And they also say we're cedar people because we harvested all of the parts of the cedar tree and incorporated into our traditional culture, regalia, ceremonial artifacts. We're an oral culture. Our elders talked to us. They passed on legends, myth, folklore, song, dance, ceremony. All people that are from the earth, and that includes all races, red, black, white, and yellow, at one time had a Mother Earth spiritual relationship, which means that they understood their part of the earth, and they had teachings handed down from generation after generation on how to protect the natural resource balance within their territory. They didn't overharvest. It wasn't about profit, it was about providing for your family and your community and making sure other families and other communities reap the benefits of being a earthbound child. We live in a day and age where, in an encyclical in 2015, Pope Francis of the Catholic Church said the natives had it right. They respected the earth, and their culture and their traditions was all about that relationship of respect. Not overdoing, not taking too much, not destroying, but leaving enough for future generations to be able to survive.
In the inlet where I live, our people at Tislilwatu people were called the people of the inlet, Tislilwatu. I remember being a little girl and eating out of that inlet. My dad would light a fire on the beach and scoop water in a great big pot, and he'd put it on the fire. Then he'd go out and crab, and when he'd come back, he'd just drop them into the boiling water. And he'd put the clams around the fire, and when they open up, they're ready. And no one has done that in our ate out of that water for many years. The water, it was so clean. We had no endangered species. Now, right across from us, there's Shell Gas Refinery, and they got great big tankers coming in and out of the inlet. Kinder Morgan from Houston, Texas, want to come from Alberta all the way through BC into our waters. If one of those pipelines burst or blow up, there are 8 toxic gases in that tar sands oil. 100 to 70 years, that tar sands bitumen would still be in the water. It's the dirtiest oil in the world. It endangers everybody. When I walked the tar sands in Alberta, Canada, I saw one bird and it was dead on the ground. There was no other life around there. It's like a dead zone. There's miles and miles and miles of pollution and chemicals being thrown into the waters. It's just barren. It's just sand, and it's so toxic. I saw them pulling a big black bear out of the trailing ponds. It's that toxic. If the Kinder Morgan gets to come through here, that's it for the salmon, seal. That's it for the whales.
As I grew up and I walked with my elder, Shivanamuk was his name, the one that I listened to mostly. I talked with him, I listened to him, and we'd go on adventures. And we'd go to study this and we'd go to study that. I was told to protect this one area, Twatiakan. He was explaining to me, he says, well, this is the home of the ancient ones. Not just the old people, but the ancient ones lived here. I want you to protect this. I want you to protect this, he said. And these are the things that you have to do into the future. He could see what was going to happen. Some days I wake up in the morning, I'm just glad I'm as old as I am not to see too much into the future. I feel for those children that are being born today, what they're going to have to live through. You see, some of the rivers run red already. Some of the rivers are running too warm, killing the eggs. Some of the rivers are running too shallow. There are so many big boats out here now, it isn't even funny. The lesson is It doesn't only affect the Quilthamists and the animals and the birds, it's affecting us. We have to start taking care of everything. And it's not a nice thing to say, but it's the truth. That is, somebody's getting rich off of it. We know that's what it is. It's just the almighty dollar. It's the truth.
We've been here over 10,000 years. Right from contact, we've been fighting for this piece of land, this little piece of land out of all of North America, all of Turtle Island. And I love this inlet. I love that my people before me fought for this inlet, and I'm proud to do it today. I don't know, I just said there comes a time in your life when you put down your remote control, put down your Game Boys, and just warrior up. That's what we have to do. We have to warrior up. I told that to my people. And so we'd have gatherings almost 10 years ago, and maybe we'd get 30 to 50 people. In March 10th this year, we got over 10,000 people came and raised their voice and said, no, we're not going to pay taxes for our pipelines. We don't want all the people that turn out when we do protest against pipelines and the tar sands. It goes to prove we're growing because of our spiritualism. We're growing because of our great respect for Mother Earth. I feel like I'm getting to the twilight of my years. And when I look at my grandchildren, I'm so happy. One of the last things my dad said to us when he knew he was going to pass is, always remember who you are and where you come from. You're not just a mere human being on this earth walking alone. You got all those ancestors with you